So a little bit of backstory about this product that's been in the waiting for many years. In the airsoft world, there's licensed products all over. Umarex do well with the HK series. They make all the HK 45s, the USPs, and a lot of the rifles like the 416, 417s and all the variants that they come in. But there's never been, up until now, a licensed version of the Glock. And Glock have chased companies for years using their trademarks, and they've been difficult to get hold of. Although you could get Glocks with the markings on, it was never licensed. It was always done without Glock's permission, and those doing so always ran the risk of being sued for use of their property. So luckily Umarex have got on top of this and finally been able to bring you the first licensed version of the Glock. I have three variants of the new Glock lineup by Umarex. We've got the 19, we've got the 17 Gen 3 and the 17 Gen 4. Beforehand, in the likes of WE and a few other brands doing Glocks, the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 has always been a change of the lower frame, and that's been about it. But it's not the case with these pistols. There are more differences, but we'll be going into those a little bit later in the video. They also do a Glock 42, which I don't have one of the licensed versions, but I do have one here, so we can show you the size comparison and bits and pieces like that, because the 42s weren't on our initial order. These aren't a cheap pistol. They're up there with the F&X's and the likes of pistols that reach in the 150 to the 170, 180 price range, so really well up there. But do they do it as well as you want them to? Now, these are OEM by VFC. I've been a massive fan personally of VFC pistols for some time. I use the F&X 45. I've used VP9s in the past, which they were a little bit hit and miss. There's some good, some were not so good. And I also use a Glock 42 as well. Now, I actually have down here my own Glock 42. This is the same one that is the licensed version, but this obviously wasn't. These came in like a little fake Bible when you bought them, and you can see this one's a little bit different here, but we're just going to use this as a size comparison because you can see it's got those salient bits on there. But it's a very small pistol, but we're going to put that to one side and we're going to get into opening these things. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the boxes. It's a thing that many reviewers seem to do, and I don't normally mention the boxes, but they are very well presented. Now, it would have been nice to have it in a nice plastic Glock case like some manufacturers have done in the past, and I think if it came with that case included with the pistol, I think the price range would have been a lot more reasonable, because the minimum advertised price on these is about $170, but ourselves and other retailers are putting them out for $159.99, and the Glock 42s are $49.99. So upon receiving it, this is a 19. You have a nice grey box like that, and it will say Glock and then whatever model it is. The 17 boxes are exactly the same, the only difference being on the very right hand side you'll see it says Gen 4 there. So first of all, we're going to look at the Glock 19, just with it being its own model. The 17s I'm going to look at the same time because there's differences here and there between the Gen 3 and the Gen 4. Now, the 19, as you'd imagine, it's a Glock 19. The size and everything is the same. The coating and finishing on these is a little bit peculiar compared to other brands. Now, I haven't owned, the only Glock I've had of VFC is the 42, like I've said, but the slide finish was very different to these. Now, we'll obviously get some close-up bits in here to overlay for you so you can see it, but the finish on the slide almost looks like it's been sandblasted before it's been coated, or it could be a gun coating, I'm not too sure. Functions like a Glock. There's not really much to say. Many companies have produced replicas similar to these over the years. The only difference being that these are in license. The VFC Glocks have been available for some time. They also always come out as like a different brand name, like Taiwan G17 or such and so forth. I do know that these VFC Glocks with trades on have been in the States for a year or two maybe. I know I've been seeing some videos of American reviewers looking at these pistols and saying they perform very well. Like I said, I'm a massive fan of the VFC pistols. My F&X is probably the pistol that I've used the most in my whole airsoft hobbying career, if that's what you want to call it. So we've got the 19, it's got a nice lovely finish. All the trades there as you'd expect. You've got the Glock 19 Austria and then 9x90 on that side. we've got a small Glock logo on here. We've got 9x19 on the barrel, and then a serial number plus the Glock logo again. We've got another serial number on that side of the slide as well. We've got the Glock on the grip. On the right hand side of the pistol, it does have a space down here, but it's blank. I don't know what that's meant to be for. But it says officially licensed product of Glock. So I know they've put officially licensed on there. I mean, I'm pretty sure the real Glocks don't have officially licensed product of Glock. It would just be made in Austria or bits and pieces like that. So it would have been nice with it being an officially licensed pistol to have the correct markings on there. Maybe they've done it that way so they can differentiate it from a real Glock at first glance, but I don't really know. So, like I say, all the bells and whistles that you're used to. It's got the normal type white iron sights. I don't know if you can see them there, with a dot at the front and then a U at the back. Strips down, all the controls are like a Glock. And then we've got obviously the slide off, and then your normal hop up adjustment is where you would usually find it on most pistols. So I'm going to pop this back in, pop that to one side. Now here we have the Glock 17 Gen 3. Now again, you've got Glock 17 Austria 9x19, 9x90 on the top. You've got different serial numbers, which is nice, plus a few Glock logos on the right hand side. You've got the Glock logo on the left hand side of the frame, and the right hand side of the frame it has nothing, and then again it has that officially licensed product. I think they all do. Yes. So again, it would have been nice to have the proper markings on there, but hey ho, it's a licensed Glock. What more do you want? So look, same as the 19 Gen 3 frame, slightly bigger magazine. Are these magazines compatible? Yes, they are. That's a 19 with a 17 mag in it. I'm not sure if you can see it there because the light's really dodgy. Obviously the 19 mag's not going to go in the 17 for obvious reasons. So yeah, the magazines in the 17s are exactly the same as the Gen 4s. The Gen 4, of course, what you'll notice is the frame is different. There's the Glock logo on the left, there's a space on the right, the usual bits on there, and then we have another serial number on the side. So it's nice the fact that they've put different serial numbers on the different slides rather than just wanging one serial number on all of them and being done with it. So they all have serial number plates on the bottom as well, and then they have 6mm BB and that little F in the Pentagon, which I think is something to do with German law, maybe, with Airsoft products. If you live in Germany, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure when we went to IWA last year that all the Airsoft pistols had to have that marking on. So you all know about Glocks. If you don't, there's a Glock. There's not really much more to say. It's not really been a platform that hasn't been around for ages. It has. You've had the likes of Tokyo Marui, WE, KJ Works. There's a few other Inakatsu, I think, did one as well. And VFC, of course, but before they had all the gubbins allowed to be put on there. So normally with other brands like the WE, your Gen 3 and your Gen 4 is the frame difference. Obviously with the Gen 4 in the box, you get some extra back straps to make it a little bit more comfortable for yourself. And then this is where I found a difference. Now, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but you'll see that the spring guides are different sizes. Now the Gen 319 has the usual type of spring guide. It has a little buffer in the middle here between two springs. The Gen 317 has a more regular style, like compared to the Tokyo Marui and the WE. It's not the exact same design, but it's got like the spring guide, it's got a buffer here, and then it's got your spring obviously on the guide. Now, Gen 4 is where it gets a little bit different. I presume they've done it this way because the Gen 4 Glock has a different spring guide system. I'm not sure. If you know, please let us know in the comments below. But you'll see it has a dual spring setup, and this isn't the first time I've seen this spring setup in a VFC Glock, because the Glock 42, if I can get the slide off, because this one's a bit finicky. with these salient bits that are on there. It's going to be a bugger today. Come on. Anyway, but the 42 has a similar system where it's got a spring guide that uses 2 springs. I don't know if you can see it there because the slide's a bit stuck. This is currently under repair because one of the screws has broke on the slide, but you can see the dual type spring guide there where it's got a spring over another spring, and then there's the spring guide system itself has 2 levels. Very much similar to this one, but obviously this is much bigger. So you've got the main spring which sits on the buffer, and then you've got another spring which has more power on it to perhaps buffer it extra more. I don't know why. And of course the Gen 4 slide has a bigger opening for this spring guide. So in regards to aftermarket parts and bits and pieces that may come out for these platforms by certain companies over the next few months to a year, we will just have to be careful with the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 slides being slightly different. There's also a difference in the frame. Now, what I can actually see there is it looks like it's missing the screw to hold the blowback unit, the trigger unit in. So I'll have to check that with one of the others. But you'll see here that the frames are different as well. This may be down to the way they've done the different upper the slide, with the different spring guide systems. So we'll have to look at that. But hey ho, we hoping they don't perform too differently, or one's better than the other, because some of you out there like the Gen 3, some of you out there like the Gen 4. I myself am a bit of a Gen 4 fan just because you can change the grip and it has the extended mag release. But those are the differences. So again, hop up is exactly where you expect it to be. The Gen 4 17 mag is exactly the same as the Gen 3 17 mag, so it's not like they've built the Gen 3s and then for the Gen 4s they've done a new design. It does look like they've just tried to keep it as close to the real pistol as possible. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but that's the only reason I can think why they've done this. So there's the 3 pistols for you, there's the overview. The polymers are nice, the slides, like I say, have a nice texture to them, almost like it's been sandblasted before it's been either painted or coated. The 42, I mean, size comparison, 17s are obviously going to be the same size. The 17 to the 19, just a slightly bit shorter. And then the 17 to the 42, you can obviously see a massive difference. 42 to the 19, again, it's a very small pistol. I predominantly run one of these for milsims. I'll run it in like a little Kydex holster and have it concealed just in case when we're playing bad guys will get caught. If you have concealed weapons that they can't find, some events you are allowed to use them. So that's why I have a 42. That's the only reason why I think you'd carry a 42. You wouldn't carry one of these as your dedicated sidearm. I just think it struggles compared to the other models with gas efficiency and ammo capacity because the mags are much smaller. What I do have here for the 42, they do, or VFC did do the extended mags. Now, as you can see, this pistol is very small in my hands, so your little finger tends to go under the mag and you get your other 2 fingers on there and you hold it like that. But with the extended pistol mags, you can see that it's much longer. So the gas capacity is more and it holds more rounds. Pop this in the 42 and it feels great. It's a nice slim grip which I like. I've always been a fan of the size of the 17s, but the grips have always been the letdown for me for a slightly smaller pistol. I mean, I know this replicates the real one, this is just my personal opinion, but I like the fact that the 42 had a really slim grip, and with them extended mags it makes it much more usable. But like I said, I will always carry my F&X 45, and I'll always carry this as a backup or for something that's concealed under my top here. But we'll see how they chrono now. Let me just check what the characteristics of these are. So they're all one joule. The 19 holds 20 rounds, it says, and the 17s hold 23. So you've got an extra 3 rounds there in the 17. They're all metal slided, they've all got metal barrels, semi-auto, they all shoot the same round. They've all got the same hop-up units, which are adjustable. They've all got blowback, and they all run off gas. Now, with other VFC pistols, they've always been a little bit different now compared to like the likes of Tokyo Marui or WE, where you fill the gas in from the bottom. And I've always liked this out of VFC. They'll put the fill valves at the top behind the gas release valve, so you can fill it with it being up like that and make sure the gas is all the way to the top. You don't have to flip your magazine upside down. The FNX is very good for this as well. The 17s and 19s, however, they've done differently. Just take the 19 one for instance. They've obviously got the nice Glock logo on the base plates and all the markings at the back of the magazine as you would find on the real pistol, which is good. However, filling this up with gas, the gas valve is below the bottom cover there. And when these things are new, they're not the easiest to move the plates, as they're quite tight. And it comes off. So it's got your usual bottom fill valve in the fill valve in the bottom of the mag, sorry. And they actually have an indentation on the bottom of that, so that when you're filling your gas, it will stop the plate from falling off. Me personally, what I'll probably do if I do pick up one of these, or if you pick up one of these, what I would recommend, even though you're going to go through that a bit of that Glock logo, is I would just drill a hole, because the last thing you want on the field, if you're in and out of quick games, like if you're doing CQB or indoors, or even if you're in the field and you need to bomb up in the middle of an event or something, the last thing you want to be doing is fighting around with that bottom plate, especially when it won't come off straight away. The 17s are exactly the same, but let's put some gas in one of these pistols and we'll see what the blowback action is like. So usual green gas in the magazine, and we'll see how this does. It's very satisfying actually. I mean, with gas pistols in the past that I've used, when you're firing them, so you get the blowback action. Some are harder than others. You use CO2 and it really puts a smile on your face. But with these, it's not massively powerful, but it's almost like you feel it more in the palm of your hand, to say like a WE17 or a Tokyo Marui, for obvious reasons. So although it's not as hard as say a CO2 pistol, it's very, very satisfying and knocks back nice. It's going to be interesting to see how these fare up with the different spring guide systems, if there's a difference on not only on the trigger response but on the return of the slide, and of course we'll have to get these chronoed and see what they're doing. So we'll be back in just a moment when we've got the chrono up and we'll see what the results are. For the chrono test we're using green gas and 0.2 gram BBs. First we've got the Glock 19. 322, 309, 303, 297, 290, 283, 280, 277, 275, and 272.9. So next up we have the Glock 17 Gen 3. Again we're using green gas and 0.2 gram BBs. 328, 316, 305, 305, 300, 291, 296, 289, 287.8 and 294. Again, seeing a average on that. Well, the last shot was at 0.8 joules. The first shot was bang on a joule. So we'll get the Gen 4 and see if it chronos exactly the same. So we have the Glock 17 Gen 4 green gas 0.2 gram BBs. 304, 304, 294, 296, 295. That's the recoil of the pistol moving the chrono forward. 296, 294, 301, 291, 292. Last shot of 0.8 joules. The first shot obviously was a little bit lower than the Glock 17 Gen 3. We'll obviously get back in front of the camera and talk about the findings. So, interesting results there on the first chrono test. You can see that with the first magazine, this is literally the first magazine we put through this gun. We haven't put anything else apart from the Gen 4 where I put a bit of gas in it to show the blowback action. So we were seeing that the FPS was dropping quite a bit compared to other models, but I think this is literally, they're brand new guns out of the box. We've just put green gas in. One thing I will like to point out when gassing these pistols up is with the base plates on the 19. Obviously I mentioned that the button that's used to keep the base plate on can lock in to the magazine to stop it from sliding all the way off, which is great on the 17s. As soon as that hit plate hits there, you gas it up as normal. What's really annoying is that the 19 mag, you pull the tab down, slide the base plate forward, it sits on that little recess where you can't pull it off, so you don't obviously drop it or lose it. However, when it's set in that position, you can't fill the magazine up with gas. Literally, it's just covering the valve. You can't get the gas can in there, no way at all. So if you've got the Glock 19, you will literally have to remove the base plate to gas it up. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's got to be mentioned. So you'll see that obviously the 19 Gen 3 and the 17 Gen 3 were very similar in their results. The 17 obviously coming out a little bit higher, sorry, and you did see a bit of an FPS drop. Now, I'm pretty sure this is down to the first magazine that I fired through them. Once we'd finished with the chrono test, I just quickly magged up a 17 again, and it was a little bit better, so it might be a case that these are brand new out of the box. But I'm not going to edit that out and say they're the best thing in the world, because that's not what we do here. So hopefully it's just a new thing, because these do come caked in grease out of the box. So what I do recommend doing when you get one of these, obviously without voiding your warranty, is perhaps taking the top slide, clean all that grease off, putting some better lubricant on there, and then away you go. Funnily enough, what we saw with the 17 Gen 4 was it was a little bit lower powered compared to the Gen 3. However, it was a lot more consistent, so you didn't get as massive drop off straight away, and it seemed to level out with a better average compared to the 17 Gen 3 and the 19 Gen 3. Again, this could all mean absolutely nothing. They're brand new pistols. However, it's got to be mentioned. But I suppose you're going to ask yourself the main question. I'm just going to decock the hammers on these pistols. What makes you buy this over a WE Glock replica and a Marui? Now, I'm a big fan of Marui Glocks. I've had one for many years. However, it does get let down, not performance-wise, but realism and feel to the plastic slides. Now, I actually have a Marui here. I run a Marui M&P in the winter, and this is a plastic framed pistol with a plastic slide. Now, this Marui I keep as is. Mainly because I use it in the colder weather, or if I'll use it as a backup when I go to an event on the FNX. I have been an MMP fan for years, but to be honest, this gets benched all the time. I bought this, I ran probably 2 events with it maybe, as a full-time pistol in that event. popped all the upgrades on there, nice trigger and everything, and it's been benched. I use my FNX. My FNX is completely standard. I think all I've done was basically, as a wear and tear thing, I replaced the hot rubber. So what's going to make you buy this over the other models? Price. Now, price comes into it because these are more expensive. Do I think that the expense is justified with what you're getting out of the box? Yes, 100%. Comparing it to the other brands, the way it's been packaged, the way it's been licensed and everything else, I would happily, from my experience, I mean, going back to the days when I wasn't in airsoft retail, I would happily have spent anywhere between £150 and £180 for something like this. I think the quality is superb. The finish on the slide is absolutely fantastic, as well as the magazines. They have the same finish. The quality of the magazines, again, is like it should be. The markings, the wide channel all the way down, which makes loading and make sure it's double stacked very easy. The last time I ran a Glock that wasn't a Marui, I think it was a Gen 4 17 by WE. This is going back a while. The reason why I'm more of a fan of the Glock Gen 4 compared to the Gen 3 is you've got the extended mag release, and the other thing is, I'm sure some of you are going to grumble at this, I like to stipple my frames. It's not a secret, I've been doing it for many years. Back in my days when I used to do fuse custom works, I always used to stipple frames for other people as well, mainly because I'm wearing gloves now. In airsoft, it's not a life and death situation, so it's not like if you lose your grip on your pistol, it could be a very tragic mistake on your part. Say if you're in law enforcement over in the US and you're using a Glock and it slips in your hand, obviously it's a much different scenario. However, one moment. So yeah, sorry about that. Like I was talking, the Gen 4 frames are easy to stipple just because they have less of a moulding compared to the 17. Again, that's a personal thing of mine. It's not necessarily going to be something down to yourself. If you're not bothered about the back straps, if you're not bothered about the slightly extended mag release, which is easier to accidentally hit, then perhaps go for the 17 Gen 3. Again, still a great pistol, the same pistol. It'll be interesting to see what people find in regards to the different spring guides, whether that affects performance, consistency, other bits and pieces like that. But yeah, these are absolutely superb pistols. Like I say, I think they're well worth the money. I'm a massive fan of VFC. I've tried to be as unbiased to this review as possible because I've been trying to source VFC Glocks for a while now, and no one seemed to have them in stock. And then when it got announced that they were being licensed, I was hoping that it was OEM by VFC, and it has been, and I have not been disappointed at all. As you can imagine, being in the airsoft retail business, a lot of models come through here that's customer owned and for stock and selling and retail purposes. There's not many times I'll pick something up and actually end up buying one. There's a few exceptions like the FNX, but I had that for a few years. I ended up buying another one just to make sure I had a spare just in case. A few other bits and pieces. I think we had the Chris Vectors in. I had one of those because I was impressed by it, even though it had problems with the trigger, but we're not going to go into that. But sidearms, I mean, I haven't had a 17 for a long while now. The last 17 I had was a Marui one, I believe. I've had the Glock 42, which I've been happy with, but I wouldn't run it as a main sidearm. And even with the licensed ones, if you buy one of these with the standard slides on them, again, I wouldn't count on it being in a sort of like, say if you're going to an indoor CQB skirmish, I wouldn't rely on that to be the most efficient pistol in the world, but I would with one of these. Hopefully the magazines become back available again because they're on back order at the moment with the distributor. So I'm going to sign off actually because I think I've covered most of the things. Again, this is not like a normal review show. I'm sure there's people out there that will do it much better than I will. But I like to give my thoughts and the quick on-the-counter overview of these products. So big thumbs up from me. We've got these in stock now. We've got all the models, 19, 17 Gen 3, 17 Gen 4. But we'd like to hear what you think down below. If you've already picked up one of these, if you've ran it, if you've tried it, if you found different results, let us know in the comments below. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube for further content. And you can also get in touch with us by email, phone or visit our website, which is bespokeairsoft.co.uk, where you can find these and many more standard and bespoke airsoft items on the web. So thanks for tuning into this on the counter review, and I hope this has been a little bit better compared to the last one. But again, let us know down in the comments below, and we do listen to all feedback. So we'll see you in the next video. I hope you've had a great Christmas and New Year, and thanks for tuning in, guys.